Perfect Talk is what it do. It's your guy DJ Playboy. On this episode, we got to talk about the college campus protests. Also, we got to talk about Harvey Weinstein had his New York conviction overturned. Megan Thee Stallion is facing some wild allegations. Chris Brown and Quavo are going back and forth. And will Ted Cruz's podcast get him in hot water? We got that and much, much more. It's Perfect Talk, baby. Let's get it. What's good, Josh? Your man DJ Playboy back with another episode of the Perfect Talk podcast. And I'm back in the building with my dog, my partner, my guy, Spec. What's good, brother?
Yes, sir. Glad to be back on the show.
We back, man. We got a new look for him, too, man. How y'all like it, man? Let us know in the comments. Man, we doing it big on the YouTube. If you're listening to us on the audio version, go check us out on the YouTube. We got a whole new look up here. Yo, it's been a minute, Spec. How you been, though? Everything good?
Man, everything is good, man. Glad to be alive. Blessed.
Life
Change of weather.
Yeah.
It's that time of the year.
People graduating, all types of stuff, man. And you know what? That brings us to our first story, man. Plicker Spotlight story. You know, I like to shine a light on some things that we got going on in the news, whatever. You know, this is one of the bigger stories, or maybe a small one. I want to shine a light on it. And this one was no different, man. A lot of college campuses are having these crazy protests, man. It started really with Columbia University. It was in New York, and it's these pro-Palestine protests. Start out peaceful, you know what I mean? It looks like they were in camping, right? They were just like, we're not leaving, we're staying here, we're going to set up camp, And what I've heard was like outside groups kind of joined in as well. Yeah. Other pro-Palestine groups have joined in, and then once that happens, and the university's like, all right, well, now we got to call the police.
That's where the violence starts.
We got to gather people in here, and it started getting a little crazy, man. Jewish students said they did not feel safe on campus. These protests have spread to other college campuses, and it's been like just everything I've seen in the news this week with it going on, man. We see all the universities. I see Arizona State, Bernard State, Columbia University, like I mentioned, Emory University, George Washington, Ohio State, University of North Carolina, University of South Carolina, University of Texas, Virginia Tech, Yale. I
was surprised, to be honest with you.
Now, for those who don't know, this is over the war in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. Where a lot of these students feel like this isn't a war, this is a genocide, right? And they're calling for all types of things. I saw them protesting outside of Chuck Schumer's house. They're going everywhere, and they're you know what I mean, they were shutting down the Golden Gate Bridge about a week or two ago. It's serious. And why the college campuses so much though? Do you know why?
Kids, it's the younger generation.
It's
Gen
really
Z. It's being powered by Gen Z, and so obviously that's college age, younger, anywhere in the 20s, and so that's why you have this happening on the college campuses.
One of the first ones I saw were that USC, University of Southern California. I think their valedictorian was a she looks of Muslim descent, and she was the valedictorian.
Okay.
But they said they weren't gonna let her do a speech out of fear of what she might say, and now it's like, I mean, now you just. But I also get the other side of it. We don't know what you're about to say. And that could cause something, you know what I mean?
But also, I think, so the valedictorian, before they give their speech, I think they have to submit their speech.
Approved, right?
It has to be approved. So
maybe she gave something that wasn't approved.
Maybe, and then they're like, yeah, we can't trust her. Like,
she went back, she revised it, and it was even worse. Nah, I can see that happening, man. But it's definitely been spreading, like you said, along the lines of Gen Z, that are really just standing up for their rights, which I don't really understand. Like, you should be able to protest. Now, why is it becoming that? Because they're making the Jewish students feel unsafe?
So, I was having this conversation a couple days ago, and I think in their eyes, this is no different than any other protest that we may see. Like if we see blacks protesting against police brutality, right? I think where the disconnect comes into play is this issue that they're protesting against. It's not real, and I hate to say this, but it's not necessarily an American issue per se. Yes, we are allies with Israel, and that is political, but the overarching issue of the genocide, that's not necessarily an American problem. And because it's not something that's happening on our home turf, I don't really think, one, this will be successful. I think it will, this protest, this
successful?
current protest, I think it will ultimately come across as more of a nuisance than anything else, because there's nothing that we as America can do other than say we're not going to assist Israel at all. But that's not going to happen because, again, this is politics here. And so, again, it's not happening on our home turf. So it's not of the essence. So even if, they feel they may have an argument, it's not something that's happening on our soil. And then therefore it's going to be ultimately seen as a nuisance. It's not, I don't think you're going to see movement on it on our like legislative side as you would maybe like when you see blacks protesting against police brutality or just any issue that's happening on the home turf.
Now, do you think that's because of messaging? Because I guess I'm just playing from what these kids would say in response to what you said. We're funding the war, right? We just gave them another aid pack. We just approved another aid package that's going to send more money to not only Israel but also Ukraine and now Taiwan, I believe. So, in their eyes, I think when we say that we're funding it, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, when we're funding it, we're not sending them $1 billion. We're sending them weapons that are made from companies here. Like
sometimes it's cash, but I mean, most of the time it's actual weapons.
Yeah, exactly. So Halliburton, for instance, or RTX or whatever. You know what I mean? Like these companies that are defense companies, they're profiting off of that, which is our economy. Also, America also has another kind of selfish interest in the Israeli positioning of just where it's at in the Middle East. That we need an ally that's right there in the middle of potential enemies that we would have because of their positioning. We also are one of their few protectors that because of where they are located. So there is a selfish interest in the United States protecting Israel in this.
It's political.
But I think they'd probably be better off to message that because but not by not mentioning that, it looks like we're just throwing more money at what these kids are perceiving as a genocide. So I think it just comes out of really messaging, and they can't.
I don't think it's going to matter for the younger. At the end of the day, they're not going to want to see it at all. But yes, the messaging around it, like to get people to understand why we're doing this versus just backing up.
You got to say
I do think, that the messaging can be better. For sure. It's not going to make them feel any better. They're still going to protest about it.
It's genocide. They feel like it's a bad thing that we're not doing, but. And I don't want to take credit for it because you know who I really hear saying this a lot of times, Charlemagne. He's like really the Democrats don't have great messaging.
No, they don't.
Yeah, and it's just like, but this isn't even a Democratic thing. This is just literally like whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. Like we have military interests in a lot of countries, not because of who they are, just because we're nice guys and like to be in their business.
Right.
No, we're protecting Ukraine because they're right next door to Russia. One of our enemies. Like, we're not, you know what I mean? We help them.
And it's bigger than Ukraine. I mean, if we're talking about Russia, Ukraine, it's bigger than that. Because if we were to allow Russia to take over Ukraine, then what's to stop them from Poland and just keep going on and on and on? Same thing with Taiwan. We have to protect Taiwan or China's going to retake it back. Once they do that, what's next? And so it can be a snowball effect.
That's exactly, but you get it. But when you explain, like you get it, I get it. When you explain it to us like that, but I can see as someone, and a lot of people get their information from headlines, from clickbait and whatever the case may be. You can't put that much in a 30-second clip,
right?
You know what I mean, to let somebody know, hey, maybe turn your eyes away from the genocide because it's helping things be a little bit better over here, or it's helping gas be $4 as opposed to 15 a gallon. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like it sucks, and it's the world that we live in. I don't like seeing these kids get like shot or tased or whatever. What's the other, tear gas and all that stuff. I don't get why that's the answer. Like I get it. The such and such place has to close at such and such time. These kids are choosing to protest. Are they trespassing or not? Like, you know what I mean? Like either if they're trespassing, then they're violating the law, but if they're not, but I don't get why is tear gas coming out? Why is this, you know what I'm saying? All this type of stuff. You're hitting them with rubber bullets. Like it's that's when it becomes like, oh, so you're just mad we're protesting. And then that's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? Go down that road. So, but it's definitely something I want to shine a light on, man. Shout out to, just both sides of the issue. Cause I definitely, my heart goes out to any Jewish student that feels unsafe Well, because why? For what? Why are you mad at them?
Right.
What did they do? Now, I don't know.
Now, my heart goes out to all sides. I mean, Jewish people, I mean, the people in Palestine, the good ones, obviously, not the militant groups. They don't deserve, that treatment that they've been getting. It's unfortunate. But
like, what is it? What does your Jewish classmate have to do with Netanyahu not wanting to allow aid through?
Right.
I mean, he can't change that. You know what I'm saying? Chuck Schumer can't even change that. And Chuck Schumer was calling for Netanyahu to have for them to have a re-election, and they still going to Chuck Schumer's crib. So it's like,
come on, people. Like, usually, because they can't do nothing about that.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't, ultimately think it's not going to be successful, and it's going to be more of a nuisance than anything else, because this is not an issue that America can really solve. I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we're not going to say, we're not going to be allies with Israel. That's not happening. And so with that said, there's nothing to be done from our perspective. Other than to say, hey, Israel, be nicer. I mean, that's what Biden's been doing. He's been kind of lately trying to, hey, Netanyahu, like, we don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But that's the most you're going to get. I mean, at the end of the day.
Bro, I went down a rabbit hole with the Palestine, Israel. I just kept hearing about these red heifers. You ever heard about the red heifer theory?
No.
I just kept hearing about these red heifers, and I'm like, what is the red heifer theory? And I went down this rabbit hole, and it has a lot to do with just ancient Judaism, and it's deep religion theory that I probably don't have time to go into. Long story short, but basically, there was like sacrifices made in the past of red heifers. Mm-hmm. They have to be of a specific type.
Now, red heifers, we're talking about cows?
Cows,
okay.
Yeah. And
for all you people that don't know what a heifer really is, it's a cow. Okay.
Now, what's funny is I would not have known that term unless we used that as a derogatory term back in the day. So it's funny that I wouldn't have known what that meant. But long story short, so Israel has acquired some red heifers from Texas. They went on a worldwide search. They found them in Texas. They were up to the exact specifications of because I believe the specifications are so exact that the prophecy won't come true if you sacrifice the wrong ones. Long story short, they have the heifers. Mm-hmm. They got them back to Israel. The conspiracy is October 7th happened because word got back to the other side that they're doing this, and then now it's because it I believe once again, go do your own research and look it up, people. I believe once they sacrifice these red heifers, it begins the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And that's what basically they were trying to stop. They survived. The Jews would survive from what they believe, mm-hmm. but no one else would. Obviously, we don't be taken out. And it's a big conspiracy theory, but now I saw something on CBS about it the other day. And I'm like, oh, wait, is this real? Like, I thought it was just some internet shit. And right. Apparently the heifers are being protected by the military in this building somewhere in Israel. Is going down. But now look into the red heifer theory. It's not going to change anything. But I guess if you were to go deep down enough in the rabbit hole, it would explain exactly why it seems more like Netanyahu is based on eradication as opposed to just a response. There's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that we don't know. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad for these kids because they're so passionate about it. And it's like, we don't know everything that's going on. We know what they tell us, what what's given to us. But from these kids' perspective, they do know that thousands upon thousands of people are dying, innocent people, and then the ones that have survived are suffering from famine and other things of that nature. So it's a catch-22, man, but war is always going to be that, man. And I haven't spoken to my guy Spec right here on this platform in a while, and I got to catch up on some things, man. Can we get some respect or speculation? Can they put some respect on your name, bro?
Let's do it.
My name, come up, respect. Yeah.
Let's go.
Stop playing with my name.
You know what I mean? But can we do it a battle edition? Because there's been a lot of people battling.
Okay.
Going back and forth. So this is, put some respect on my name, battle edition with my guy Spec in the building. And I got to know, what's your whole opinion on the J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick Lamar beef, man. For everybody who doesn't know, Kendrick Lamar hopped on the Future and Metro song Like That, and kind of said to Drake and J. Cole, who will mention on First Person Shooter, that they're in the big three with Kendrick. Like, no, I don't want to be in the big three with you guys. It's just me. You know, a lot of bravado. It got J. Cole real hyped. He got in the studio, he made 7 Minute Drill, and then very quickly apologized for 7 Minute Drill. So I guess we'll start there. What was your thoughts at that point? Because it's been a
The
few
apology?
weeks. Yeah, up to the apology. So even the J. Cole song and then the subsequent apology in response to Like That, what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, I'll take it back to Kendrick when he first released his verse on Like That. Like, I was shocked, like everybody else probably was, because I didn't expect that. Because big First Person Shooter, it paid homage to Kendrick.
It felt like it, right? Yeah.
And so when he came back and said, "No, F that, I'm not in the big three, it's just me," I was shocked. And at that point, you know, I was expecting some responses from Drake and J. Cole. Mm-hmm. You know, first up was J. Cole, 7 Minute Drill. When I seen the title on the album that he put out, I was hyped because I'm like, he gonna go in on Kendrick for 7 minutes.
But the song wasn't 7 minutes.
The song wasn't. So I was highly confused when I was
like, am I missing? Is that like a term that I didn't know? 7 minutes. I was like, I gotta hit a spec. Maybe it's a basketball practice term or something like that.
Because it wasn't 7 minutes. So I said, okay, well, maybe it's gonna feel like 7 minutes when I listen to it. But so when I heard the track, I was like, a
little lackluster, right?
Nah, I mean, he did say, this is like a warning shot, so I was okay, maybe he gonna put out something later or something like that. Like, but you know, the song felt half-assed, but I gave Cole a pass, whatever. Then 2 days later, he had a show where he
the Dreamville Festival,
where he then apologized. I didn't see the apology maybe until almost 2 weeks after it happened. I had just heard that I had just heard that he apologized. So for me,
you seen it like fairly recently. Like,
yeah. So for me, when I heard he apologized, I'm like, I mean, it's not okay. He's growing. It shows growth. You know, he doesn't, because when you
heard about it, you gave him grace that he's growing.
Yeah, when he, you know, apologized and then said, because the song felt half-assed. I felt like he didn't really want to respond. And how do
you feel after you seen the apology? Like after you actually seen it?
I felt even worse. I'm like, because I was willing to give him a pass, you know, when I just heard he apologized. But when I heard the apology, I'm like, damn, right? Like, I wish you just wouldn't have said nothing at all. Never issued a response. Never, you know, did a record. None of that. If that's how you felt, you shouldn't have did anything.
Here's what I don't like about the current state, though, right? Like, remember Nas, right? Ether was in response to Takeover, right? But Takeover originally was like a Summer Jam thing, and then Jay-Z dropped the album, you know, with the full song in it. And then Nas came a couple months, right? I believe it passed in between, right? What is this thing nowadays? Like, you got 24 hours to respond. Like,
I mean, it's no different. That's just everything nowadays. The consumption, it has to be instant,
be fast, right? Yeah.
So
that, because like I'm not. That is really the number one head scratcher. I like Cole. If you would have just took a beat and, you know what I mean, like, you either would have came to that realization that you came to make you apologize, or you would have made a better song.
Had he waited.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like this, like, yo, we got to give him something right away. I don't get that. Like,
I mean, that's the outside pressure. Mm-hmm. I mean, he talked about it in the apology. Like, you know, his phone ringing, everybody. I mean, Kendrick got to be feeling the same thing, but notice Kendrick hasn't responded. And I don't know if Kendrick is going to respond.
That's what I mean. Like, and let's say he does. But is it not going to hit just as hard? Does it have to be within that 3-week time frame?
It doesn't have to be.
That's what I'm saying. But like that, Drake kind of put that out, right? With one of his disses, like kind of like with Snoop Dogg and Pac talking to him, like, yo, where you at? You know what I mean? Like, why you ain't responding? And I feel like that's some art of war shit. Like, you know what I mean? Take your time, get your craft right, do it the right way, because it's like, why am I moving? Because the public wants it right away. Right. Because my opponent wants it right away. It's like, take your time with it. And I want to see more of that, because I'm feeling like what are we just rushing through this? You know what I mean? But that's the way even like Charlamagne was saying, Kendrick, you on the clock. And it's like,
I mean, so in today's society, he is on the clock because we consume everything so fast. In 2 months, we gonna forget about this if it doesn't continue.
Yeah.
Like, and so, I mean, technically he is on the clock, but like I said, I don't know if he's gonna respond.
so what you think about
And I wouldn't be mad if he didn't respond.
at all?
Yeah, I mean,
It's weird to kind of come at
well,
him
the
so
way,
hard from left
the
field.
way he came,
Yeah.
or it's kind of like with Cole, like. For the past 4 years now, Cole's been on some. I'm a smoking nigga. If he try me, I'm a. Who's gonna test me?
I think it's a lot easier when that's hypothetical. You know what I mean? When it's a, you know, like how Michael Jordan had to like make up a beef. You know what I'm saying? Like we saw in The Last Dance.
Yep.
He had to like, what'd you say about me? You know what I mean? Like type of thing. I think it's a lot easier to have those bars when it's an invisible bully. But when it's an actual person that you got to run into, and then because it's a little weird because him and Kendrick have a relationship.
But that's why like if this was like, let's just say, I don't know, NBA Young or one of these newer rappers, Cole would have smoked them. Period.
Yeah.
He did. This happened with Cole because of the admiration that he has for Kendrick. It's like if you and me get into an argument and you laid hands on me, I would have to think about my next step. It wouldn't be an automatic, I'm gonna snuff you right back. Because
of the friendship, you say?
Because of the friendship,
Yeah.
I respect you as a man, as a friend. And so I know what those next steps may do, right? And so me being a older individual, wise individual, I'm gonna think about those things.
Yeah.
And I may choose to be I'm gonna walk away from this because, what may happen next if I respond to you in that same fashion, it may destroy everything. And so,
Well, I think also that's why the diss wasn't as scathing.
no, it wasn't because
it was like,
that's how he felt.
Yeah,
he didn't want to do it.
But also, I truly don't think your projects were bad. I truly don't think you're whack as a rapper. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's why the bars.
It makes it harder when you have to like come up with stuff that you don't really
even
feel.
believe. Yeah, exactly. It's like, is this what they want to hear? Yeah.
And that's why I didn't even want to see this beef with any of them to begin with, because like Kendrick and J. Cole, like those, as far as I'm concerned, like lyricist wise, those are two of the, like, I didn't want to necessarily see, because what are they gonna really go back and forth on each other about? Like, I just feel
it's
like
gotta get disrespectful, yeah. Because
like,
how much further can you go with it without it getting
right? Like both of y'all bars are tip top, so it's not like you can talk about how the other dude's bars are whack. So you're just gonna have to get extremely personal, and it's like, for what?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to see it to begin with, but they started it, and I mean, but Drake on the other hand.
You got respect. You got respect.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he's a carrier of, and people may not like it, but of the hip hop torch. Like Drake is a ultimate showman. What I'll call it. He's not gonna run away. He's gonna give the fans what they want. It seems like every time, and I mean, you gotta respect that. I mean,
what'd you think about the diss tracks? Push-ups. What was your first thought when you heard push-ups?
my first thought, okay, like like it was up tempo, like I was, he came with it. They got to respond. It wasn't a whack track.
You thought it was real?
Like in terms of like, I thought.
But by the time you heard it, it was already official. Like that.
Yeah, I thought it was real because I mean there was just bars in there that.
It wouldn't be made up. Yeah.
Right, like no computer's gonna make that up. So, I thought it was a Drake response. And then when he came out with that second one the following week, I'm like, man.
That one was interesting, the tailor-made freestyle. Yeah, that one was dope. That was one I alluded to
Super
earlier
creative.
with Snoop and Tupac. Obviously, Drake voiced it, but you know what I mean, because you could tell by the flow. It sounds like as if it's from the voices of Tupac and Snoop, which it actually the estate of Tupac Shakur sent a cease and desist to Drake for using it. Said they didn't like it. They wouldn't have approved of it. They feel like he's trying to profit off of it, and it has subsequently been removed from Drake's social media. He's taking it down.
Wait, so he took it off of his social media, like Tupac's verse?
The whole song.
The entire, even his verse?
The post is going. He just took the whole post down.
But obviously the music is still out there.
I listened to it since it's been taken down or somewhere else. Yeah.
Okay. Is it on like Spotify, Apple?
No, it's not officially. Like, well, Push Ups wasn't officially on
But it's on something now, right?
It's on now. Yeah, it took a week
Okay.
for him to get it on. But I don't think he was even planning on putting that one on digital streaming platforms because of the AI usage.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, other people's voices. I don't think he was even planning on it. But they were like, take it down off your social media. Like, we don't want it getting played anymore.
That's fine.
Which
I'll do it because it's already out there.
Which he knew.
It's a win-win at the end of the day.
Everyone's already reacted to it. They've already said what they were going to say. I've listened to it several times. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and even, I had to go back and listen to it, even after the first time, and just listen to how hard he was coming when he was voicing.
Yo, that's it. Like, you gotta give it to him, man. That shit's hard.
It is super creative.
Like, coming from the Pac's perspective, then Snoop's perspective, then Drake's perspective.
And you know why? It was actually a really good move. It took me about a week to realize it, but he 8 Miles himself, because he says like from the Tupac verse, like, call him a bitch for me. You know what I mean? Say he fucks with young girls for me or some shit like that. And it's like he kind of like disses himself. He disses Kendrick, but without having to diss Kendrick. So it's like, for instance, if he has more in his toolbox about Kendrick that we don't know about yet, he didn't expose any of that. He was just expressing disappointment from like an OG's perspective,
right.
Which is tough because it's like he hasn't shown his cards yet. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's fire. Because some people be like, oh, well, no, you came back to back, but what you got left? And it's like, that second one, he didn't even really give you anything. He actually focused on Taylor Swift being, running the label over there and Kendrick having to be underneath that. He focused on, like, Snoop saying, I passed the torch to you. What you doing? Why you not stepping up? And just Tupac, you know what I'm saying, from someone who's passed away as an OG, like, being, like, even giving advice. It's one of the most creative tracks.
It is.
Sucks that it actually got taken down. But, no, just super respect for Drake, man. He's holding it down. Like, I would love for Kendrick to come back with something respectful, because I don't even look at it as a loss for Drake if Kendrick comes back with something. You know what I mean? Like,
there's not a loss for Drake. I mean, it's like he's playing with house money. Like, to be honest with you. So
at this point, no, I'm very, very proud of what Drake is doing.
If anything, Kendrick has more to lose than if he wasn't to come back and body Drake, which. It's so hard to do, first and foremost. So it's just kind of like, it would be risky.
How do you feel if the next thing we hear from Kendrick has nothing to do with Drake?
It'll be forgotten about. Like, Drake will get the win, the W. And
Kendrick can just move on.
And he'll just move on.
We'll see. Another respect or speculation news, man. Quavo versus Chris Brown. Chris Brown, he dropped a deluxe version of his album. He had some bars on there for Quavo. Quavo responded with Tender, song dissing Chris Brown. And then Chris Brown came back with a song called Weakest Link, where he, a lot of people say he went a little too far with that one.
Too far, really?
A lot of people, because he mentioned Takeoff.
Okay, yeah.
On there. Said that people wished it was Quavo. Mentioned Sweetie a lot. So speculating that he messed with Sweetie when she was with Quavo. And then Quavo responded to that. With a track. What's the name of it? Hold on, I want to make sure I get the name of it. Over Hoes and Bitches. And the cover of it is taken from a picture that was
Chris was choking one of his girls.
Chick, right? Yeah. But he changed it to him choking out Chris Brown. I gotta see the original picture. Chris was choking out one Chris says, we were just playing around. It wasn't, but it looked like it's like a TMZ type, like somebody was like kind of catching it. Oh man,
that happened maybe like 3 years ago.
Yeah, so shout out to Quavo for the creativity on it. But no, he had some bars for him.
I thought both artists' tracks were pretty good. Ultimately, I think we're gonna get a fight out of this one. Unfortunately,
like a celebrity fight.
Yeah. No, not like an official, not like that. I don't know. Like, I just, Chris a little off his rocker, I think, and so I think they're gonna end up crossing paths at some point, and when that happens,
that maybe, I can see that happening.
And really just because of Chris' entourage, and how he's been rolling, I do think we'll get like something gonna end up happening, unfortunately.
And this is the glove started off, right? They've touched on, Quavo said things as calling Chris a junkie, calling him a crackhead. Chris Brown has brought up Quavo his elevator fight with Sweetie. Mm-hmm. He's brought up obviously him
Takeoff.
Yep. He's also brought up Chris Brown and the Rihanna situation. So it's just like the gloves started off, so I can see it go into that level. But I guess some might argue because they sat next to each other at that fashion show that if it was really all this smoke, why like
so because the difference is at that point, while they may have had issues, they neither one of them have gotten this personal yet. But now, they've gotten personal to the point where you can't see each other in public now and nothing happened. Like when it comes to on wax beef, like there does come a point where now if y'all see each other, y'all gotta fight. Like there's no way around it. Like you have to fight now. Just as men, you gotta fight. Sorry. I mean, that's just the way it is. If you get this personal, there's nothing left unless y'all both, we're sorry. And I don't think they're going to do that.
How old is Chris Brown, dude? I'm saying that you got to be too old to fight.
I think he has to be maybe like, 37, 36? Oh, he's 34?
You can still fight.
He's definitely fighting. He's still at 34, he's fighting.
If they was like 40,
then it's like, man, no, at 34.
It really hurts. At 34, you still think you're young. Yeah, I guess, man. But then also, isn't it kind of funny that they're arguing over
girls
that they're not even with anymore?
Men unfortunately do it all the time.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of what it seems like Drake's.
Well, yeah, it's all
at him for, like, you know what I mean, over girls. When did that become cool in rap?
To be honest with you, I don't know, because like in our generation, no.
Yeah, right?
I mean. I think it's just maybe the younger generation.
Oh, because they're dating celebrity girls, maybe? That the girls have a following of their own, so now that causes...
I can't make excuses for them. I mean, it's not really cool at all.
Yeah, that's the part that...
Now, if it's one thing, if this is your chick...
And she got disrespected.
Right, but, chicks that y'all don't even claim? Like, what are we talking about here?
Imagine if it gets to the level where they do put hands on each other. It's like, wait, for what? Like, y'all can just avoid each other, but... It is what it. I mean, beef is everywhere, man. Beef is universal, man, and you can see that because the next one up in the Respect or Speculation Battle Edition, Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian got beef. Well, they've been at beef, but Taylor Swift brought it back up on wax,
right? Which I was also surprised at, but hey,
I think it's smart. Why not? I mean, you're at the biggest point in your career. You know what I'm saying? You're the biggest celebrity. I mean, damn near two of the biggest celebrities in the world. If you don't like each other, you don't like each other. And then Taylor does it in a type of way where it's almost poetic, where it comes, I guess she had the song, "Oh, Thank You, Amy." But all the letters are like lowercase, except for the K and the I and the M. And there's also another song they're saying that's about Kim. It's called Cassandra. That's on the album. You know what the whole beef's about with the Kanye verse? Then
I know a little bit. I don't know.
Kanye, basically on Famous, had the line where he was like, I might still get with Taylor Swift because I made that bitch famous. Da, da, da. You know what I mean? Then they said they approved it with her. She said she didn't know. Then it turned into like Kim Kardashian exposes her by playing the recording of them checking in with her on the show.
They did check in.
They did, but then Taylor Swift was like, well, he says in the line, I made that bitch famous. And she was like, he didn't say nothing about calling me a bitch or whatever. Like, why would I approve that? Which I guess they proved that was true too. He didn't say in the original one about that one. So, but it was something I didn't know. Like, I guess I don't pay attention enough to. I'm not gonna front like Kim Kardashian doesn't enter my radar. She right. But I didn't know that it was this big of a thing that like Taylor Swift like dipped out for like a year and she had to get out the public limelight. And I guess because it made her look like she lied.
Oh, and then,
I guess when she came out with a documentary that kind of like proved the whole thing to be false, but no one really cared because it was the pandemic by the time I think it came out, so it wasn't like a big thing. So which is why I feel like she felt like she wanted to come
Kim like released that recording like on her show or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so yeah, exactly. So because of it was in front of such a big audience, I guess like I can't get mad at it. I'll never get mad at an artist for doing what they do on wax. Now, if she did it on social media, I'd be like, hey, you a little too big for this, Taylor Swift. But no, make a song out of it. Like,
there's nothing wrong with that. Your music is an expression of you and all of that. So obviously that's something that she felt deeply about.
Yeah, exactly.
And so there's nothing wrong with that.
But Kim can't respond.
I mean, she can on her show. Like, tell us how she feels about Taylor on her show.
I guess,
That's how Kim would respond.
Just when I kind of thought Kim was falling off. Like I was like, do people still kind of care about Kim? But then I saw her at the White House like 2 days ago.
Kim falling off.
I don't care. I think I don't know. Like I guess it's at a weird point in our lives where we seen her where she was more like a pinup model that just became famous. Kind of like she didn't become famous from being a model, but it was more like she doesn't have the same appeal to me anymore.
Well, you're older.
Yeah. I don't.
And then that younger generation, I mean, obviously may not have grown up with her like our generation did.
So they view her in a different way.
And
maybe.
so it is different. So, I mean, at some point, but one has to ask, what would falling off really look like?
I guess.
So she's still going to be Kim K and have all her business and all that stuff.
So you know why I thought it? What made me think it? Wasn't she just dating like Odell Beckham or something like that? Wasn't that like the woman? I've never seen them together. Like I've never seen a picture of them two together. But I don't go.
I've seen them in the picture.
I don't go out my way and look for it.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Like I felt like, man, I remember a point in time when you be like, such and such is dating Kim Kardashian. It'd be like, oh, word? Like, you know what I mean? But for me, it was just like,
I mean, at this point, I mean, and then the type of person, it's nothing new.
And then you were like, I don't think that one's gonna last.
It's all the same shit.
But I can also argue that this is also helping Kim's fame.
Of course. I mean, she's in the anytime you're in the news, talking about you, it's gonna help you for sure.
But yeah, I guess it's a catch-22 when you're Taylor Swift because anybody you talk about, you're gonna end up making them more famous in one way, shape, or form. But I guess you got respect for Taylor Swift for keeping it on wax.
Sure.
Not popping up at an award show and just start fighting. Man, and the last one, man, respect or speculation. This one is a little weird. Harvey Weinstein versus Me Too. Your boy Harvey Weinstein got his sexual assault conviction overturned in New York State. It's kind of similar to kind of like Bill Cosby's case of it was kind of a technicality. Basically, he was not in Harvey Weinstein's case. There were people that were allowed to testify that had nothing to do with the case.
Right.
And so he in the Court of Appeals.
The judge wanted him to go to jail.
That's what they're saying. Yeah. That the appointed judge was prejudiced against the movie mogul, and he allowed the prosecution to call women who were not part of the case to testify as witnesses. Which is like, you probably would have had him anyway with the evidence. Like, why do you have to go to
jail? Right, they went the extra step. We want to make sure he go to jail.
But then I'd be like, or is that some like way to kind of give him a way out? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, like on the back end type? You never know.
Like, because this is like, for what was the purpose? But basically, but he has other cases, so he's not getting out of jail.
Yeah, no. So once this is done, he then getting transferred to California where he has to serve 16 years. So, I mean, he ain't getting out of jail. He's just getting out of New York jail.
And that case is, so under that case, he appealed, so now he's like not guilty anymore.
Correct.
Yeah.
In New York.
On a technicality. Damn, but
he started the Me Too movement.
Me Too movement, yeah. They were saying that this was like a hit to the Me Too movement, that a lot of people are going to want to come forward, but I don't think so. Because
that ain't no hit.
What we're seeing now, there are things that are happening that I think people feel safe enough to talk up, because there's even a market now for people to just make stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And because they've already embarrassed you. Like I said, I'm going to bring that up in our next story that we got coming up with Megan Thee Stallion. Actually, we're going to take it to my favorite segment right now. It's called Have You Heard? I hear headlines in the news, and I bring them to the table, and I see if my guy Spec has heard. Megan Thee Stallion. They have allegations that she sexually harassed her cameraman, forced him to be in a car with her videographer, I should say, forced him to be in a car with her while she engaged in some type of activity with another female, and he felt uncomfortable by it. And then the next day, threatened him to never discuss what he saw. After that, she said that, Garcia said, which is her videographer, said that Megan started berating him and fat shaming him, failed to pay him for his work during the waking hours of the day, switching to a pay-per task invoice as opposed to his overall salary, and then eventually kind of just moved out of working with him. So it kind of looks from the outside looking in is like she kind of just stopped working with you and you got this dirt on her.
I think
like, what do the two things have to do with each other?
Like, there's more to the story that we don't have, because like my first question is, well, from Megan, like, okay, you felt comfortable with him enough to perform sexual acts on another person while he's right
In
there.
the car, in the vehicle,
And
yeah.
then, like, I feel like there's more to this story. And then all of a sudden, the following day, he's just no longer of use to you.
No. He was with her for like I think 2 more years, a few more years. They
Okay, so
yeah.
something happened during that time.
What I guess what he's alleging is that because I guess he worked with her from 2018 and was fired in 2023, and I guess
It's 5 years. Okay.
yeah, the situation that he said happened was in June of 2022, so he would have worked with her for like another full year after that. But I guess in his mind, because he was in the car and it wasn't something that he chose to be in. Now she kind of used that against him as like, if you ever say something, I'm gonna make sure you don't work again. I'm gonna punish you. But I guess a lot of people
could
also
have been
like
the other way
a lot
around.
of people looking at it from the other way. Like she kind of like stopped wanting to work with you. You know what I mean? Stuff. She might have found a different videographer. She might have found a different person that wants to do the job. She has the right to just choose. I don't want to work with you anymore. But now you have this dirt on her. You know what I mean? Like, and you're trying to tie these two together. A lot of people were saying that with the Diddy thing, with Little Rod, which is the guy who made the accusation against Diddy. That was his cameraman. He and I think he did production as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you wanted royalties. You said you didn't get the right amount of royalties, and then now it's like, well, because I didn't get this, I'm gonna put this, that, and that in the news, and then try to make you just look like an idiot. You know what I mean?
That's what it seems like more to me than anything else.
I see, especially with the Diddy case, I seen that Diddy's camp fired back and started releasing not allegations, actually stuff that about Little Rod's past. Like he's been accused of assault in the past, and he's I forgot what the other charge that they brought up about him. I think it was like a harassment charge or something like that. But like basically trying to like besmirch his name the same way, and it's just like, what are we doing here? So like we could just all just make up shit. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be something where it's like, there's got to be some type of punishment for like if you were to make that type of accusation about a person.
There's lawsuits for that, defamation.
Yeah.
So I mean, it'll get sorted out in court, I guess.
But am I the one defaming you if I go to a court of law and try to like file a lawsuit? The media gets that, and then the media runs with it. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like.
Yeah, but then what happens is obviously you're probably interviewed. Your team releases a statement, like all of these things.
All the people that I've seen in this, let's say like the Megan Thee Stallion case, even Cassie with the original Diddy allegations, Lil Rod, I haven't seen them come out and make interviews. I don't even think Cassie can, part of their settlement. But I think once you start doing that, then I'm not paying you for a lawsuit. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think you lose your chance of settlement. I think at that point, really. But that's what they hold over your head, that they can go do these interviews, and if you don't pay them, they're gonna make their money by doing that one way or another. I just hate to see. And if this is true, if Megan Thee Stallion really did do this, I don't know.
I just don't. I mean, was she drunk? I mean, the situation just seems weird. Like, with the videographer there? Now, if you was going to let him join, that's one thing, but...
Why not just wait till you get somewhere else?
Right,
because that's the thing, we don't have enough of the details about it all. But it's just like, it really... Like I said, if it's just something that she did and it has nothing to do with any type of workplace, uncomfortable workplace allegations that he's making, I think it just sucks that her personal business got to be put out there. You know what I mean? And that... and that's what her team has come back and said, that they're just trying to make me look bad. They're trying to defame me. But it sucks that there's a market for that.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And we could just literally just embarrass somebody. Anybody can say anything, and then we got to run with that. And nobody ever comes back to re-report the news after the person comes out. So it's just like, yeah, I hate that though. But celebrities, don't pay. Don't pay. Like, if you got the money, tie them up in court, I guess. You know what I mean? Because you really are just going to inspire another person to make up something if it's not true about you. If they know that they could get you. Like, you saw the snowball with the Diddy stuff, you know what I mean? With people that weren't coming out before just felt, you know what I mean, like, empowered to come out, so. Spec, have you heard Steven Jackson has taken offense with Gayle King's interview with Dawn Staley? In an interview with NCAA champion coach Dawn Staley, Gayle King basically said, we were all cheering for Caitlin Clark, and I'll play it for you so you can see it.
No, I didn't see it. Like in Steven Jackson as the former basketball player.
Yeah, he took issue with Gayle King making that statement.
I think she lost a lot of fans when she was interviewing Lisa Leslie and brought up Kobe Bryant type situation that time.
That's what that was the big one. You think?
I think so.
Guys, Coach Staley, so happy. The game was such a good game. It was so close at times, and in the end, you guys pulled it out. But was there ever a point during the game when you were worried? Because I got worried. We were all cheering for Iowa, of course, and Caitlin Clark. But for so many people, you've got their hearts. Was there ever a point where you were worried during the game?
I wasn't ever worried during the game. I know, when we went down 10-0.
So, Gayle King's supposed to be somebody that's big in the journalism space, right? And I don't consider her black media. Y'all give her all these passes because she fuck with she's Oprah friend. I don't give a fuck who friend she is. They don't do nothing for nobody. But you cannot demean Dawn Staley like that. You talking to her about winning the championship, about going undefeated, and you have the nerve to get on there and say, well, we was rooting for Caitlin Clark and you broke everybody's hearts. Who is we?
I mean, at the end of the day, the reality is, Caitlin Clark is the biggest figure in college basketball, and the vast majority of people were rooting for her, because you have to understand there's many people who don't even follow the sport. So people who don't follow, the casual followers, that's a large group of people.
Never watch women's basketball.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they know Caitlin Clark because like weeks leading up to the championship, she was just breaking all kinds of records. And so there's all this, hype around her. So the people who don't follow college basketball, who aren't fans, all of those people are rooting for like Caitlin Clark. Most people probably didn't even know who Dawn Staley was. Even though, she's won 2 out of the last 3 years or something like that.
3 out of the last 4 years also.
Something like that. But still, like, most people still don't know her. Because if you don't follow the game like that, and it's women's college basketball. So, yeah, most people were rooting for Caitlin Clark. There is no doubt about that. So I don't have no problem with Gayle being honest about, because most people was.
With the Caitlin Clark thing, I think a lot of people had this kind of narrative, like, why are they giving her so much attention? Because I guess correct me if I'm wrong, you watch a lot of sports, it's not uncommon that they would show Caitlin Clark even though she's losing. You know what I'm saying? Or when her coach calls a timeout and she goes to the bench, even though she lost, they still camera focuses on them. The crowd is cheering because they're getting off the thing, but a lot of people are like, why they giving her so much attention? It's like, that's how sports works. Especially if you're the big name, they want to see how you handle loss. Probably even sometimes more than victory. So that was like, I felt like they were trying to paint a narrative. They made a big deal about Dawn Staley shouting her out. They were like, that wasn't necessary. I'm like, yo, Dawn Staley is proud of her.
She's classy.
Exactly.
She
knows what you just said. Dawn Staley knows a lot of them eyes that were on her that day weren't because of who Dawn Staley is. And it should be because her team was undefeated, and it should be because of the record that she had in the past couple of years. But she knows it was there because there was this white girl who could play basketball, and she's nice at it, and America wanted to see her succeed. Now, to the Gayle King thing, I got to give Gayle King some grace, and I think Steven Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, Steven Jackson does media of some form, right?
Yeah.
So he's in front of microphones. You don't always say what you mean, especially in a live interview where Gayle doesn't get to do that over or edit that. She might have just slipped up. Do I think Gayle is walking into everything?
I don't even think she slipped up. I think she's just being honest. Like, she...
Yeah, no. I think she's being honest, but she said it wrong. She said it, we were all. Everybody was not, but maybe she meant in that room when she was watching it.
No, so when she said we were all, she's just talking about the majority of people were rooting for Caitlin Clark. That's just a fact.
No,
when she says we, people just take it like all black people. Like that's probably how he took it.
I wouldn't take it like that. I would take it as like she just said like America. The whole world is watching.
America was.
But you can't say every. I think when she uses a term like that, we were all. It kind of. I get where where you could be offended by. But let Dawn Staley be offended by it, or let Dawn Staley say that was an offensive thing. Because if Dawn Staley didn't care about the comment and just moved on from it, then Why make
I
a
don't
bigger
think
deal
she cared about it
Yeah.
because she knew
She was aware of.
She was aware of like that was the case. Like most people were rooting for Caitlin Clark just because. So remember, if we had like, let's just say, I think 19 million people viewed the game, the championship game that day, the highest for women's college basketball, or maybe
ever, yeah.
And so I guarantee you, if we were able to poll every single last one of those 19 million people, the vast majority are not people who every day follow women's college basketball. And so as a result, and if you ask them, who do you want to say? Oh, I guarantee you more would probably say we're rooting for Caitlin Clark.
I can't name any of the players off of South Carolina. Cardoza or something like that.
And so with that said, when Gail was speaking, she was speaking for the majority, and that we were all rooting for Caitlin Clark.
No, but I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying, what Steven Jackson did that's wrong is he's taking the semantics of it. He's taking the exact words she said.
Yeah,
and being like, and then trying to make her seem as if, because you've alluded to like, maybe she did the interview with Lisa Leslie where she brought up Kobe. It was like, that was awkward. She has the interview with R. Kelly where she made him lose his cool. Do I think Gayle King walks into every interview trying to get an R. Kelly moment?
And people love R. Kelly still. Like, sorry.
But I don't think Gayle King is trying to get an R. Kelly moment. She doesn't need it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think she just slipped up, or maybe did it on purpose. Probably wasn't the best way to word it. You know what I mean? Especially when you're talking to the champion that did win, or the woman that coached the undefeated season. There probably is a different way to word that. To show a little bit more reverence to what she's done.
Right.
But I don't think what's the picture that Steven Jackson's trying to paint is as if she's kind of like cooning. And I don't think that's what it was. I think she said it, to your point, exactly how the majority of us, seen it. I wasn't rooting for Caitlin Clark, I'll be honest with you, but I
definitely wasn't rooting for
I didn't have a dog in the
Clark.
fight. I just wanted to see good basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted Angel Reese and Flor Janet to win in the game before, but I wasn't mad because Caitlin Clark won. I was like,
right.
it was thank you for an entertaining basketball game. You know what I mean? But yeah, shout out to everybody, man. But Steven, if you do media and you get in front of these mics, you don't always say the right thing. I can always edit, especially if I'm recording. If we say something stupid here, I can edit it out. Like, sorry, y'all, that's the Hollywood magic. We don't always say the smartest thing. I can edit it out. But does Gail have that in a live interview with Dawn Staley? Probably not. So, Spec, have you heard Ted Cruz has a podcast?
No.
Verdict with Ted Cruz. But the thing about it, right? He's a senator, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is.
He's a senator. I don't believe senators can have.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what?
Side hustles and side jobs. Now, also, I have a podcast. I try to drop it weekly. It's a lot of work to put out a weekly podcast. He records 3 times a week. Now, he's not editing.
Yeah, he's not. He's literally just showing up, sitting down, and giving an hour.
But to talk for an hour 3 times a week, you gotta. It's not just show up and spew. You know what I mean? Wild shit the entire time. So it's like
we could all find an hour in our day.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's dedicating a lot of time to it.
Oh yeah, for
That's
sure.
3 hours out of his week that he's not in the Senate doing. You know what I'm saying? Working on
the people's work.
Exactly, which is what he was elected to do. Also, he's being paid for it, which is illegal, right? But he's not being directly paid. His super PAC is getting paid. Truth and Courage PAC. The Federal Election Commission alleges Cruz has improperly directed radio distribution and marketing firm iHeartMedia to send over $630,000 to the Truth and Courage PAC, a group dedicated to the Cruz re-election effort. This amount would exceed the $5,000 limit an office holder is permitted to solicit for a super PAC. Also heard somewhere that $630,000 is like 3 times more than they've ever raised for their election campaign for Ted Cruz. So it's just like, one, it just seems wrong. Like, how are you doing this? Like, because I think he's up for election this year, if I'm not mistaken, or re-election. So it's like,
I hope he don't get reelected.
There's got to be some reason why he's gotten this far with it. Like, someone would have raised a red flag. Because wouldn't Donald Trump just get a TV show? Or a TV station and just run for 24 hours a day? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be some type of loophole that is allowing Ted Cruz to go ahead with it. Or why would iHeart even get themselves involved with it?
Well, because I don't know. I mean,
Because they had to somehow know that it would come back on them.
But I think maybe they thought just because it's the super PAC and not him directly. I don't know.
Because to me, it looks like you just donated over $500,000 to Ted Cruz's re-election campaign, right?
Which is not like, I think where the gray area lies is because people are allowed to make whatever type of contribution they want, but they utilize the term solicit no more than $5,000. So maybe the gray area comes into play. Well, he didn't solicit this. We approached him, and he's not taking the money directly. He's taking, is going to the super PAC. There was never any solicitation. That's the only.
But he's giving them something. He's giving them content now. He's giving them 3 hours of content a week, which they're compensating him for. We could all pretend like they're not, but they're compensating him for by not directly putting it to him, but giving it to a super PAC. Something feels weird.
But are they saying that him just being on a podcast is illegal? Because I don't think that.
No, I mean, they came out with a full announcement. They said that he was getting it. They did not disclose what he was going to get paid. And he's been doing it. Yeah, so optics of it don't appear to be right. As somebody who is in office, it seems wrong. I don't know. As long as they went about it correctly, I don't think there's anything. There's no legality. There's nothing wrong with, as long as they went about it properly, because he's not being paid directly from a legal perspective. No, I think this is they're gonna look into this. And
I hope they do.
It's gonna create a precedent over what they can do moving forward.
So that's what, like I said, there's a gray area, right? Gray areas exist where the laws didn't extend into,
exactly,
and so that's a normal thing that happens. And now maybe they'll have to put something on the books saying you can't do X, Y, and Z.
I mean, shout out to him for even thinking to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
But to me, from the outside, it looks like someone at iHeart just really wanted Ted Cruz to get reelected and figured out. Because he's not even interesting of a person.
I mean, from my perspective,
he's not. But they're not just giving it to people. Obviously, people in Texas like him if they're going to vote for him, right? But they're not just promoting this to people in Texas. It's a nationwide. I can think of, wouldn't you give Marjorie Taylor Greene one before you give him? Because she's going to say some wild shit. You know,
from an interesting standpoint,
What about Ted Cruz? Interesting, like he disappeared on Texas when they had a snowstorm. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
And the only time we hear about him is when he does kind of like funny shit or he does like goofy shit. So it's just like I don't even see what the interest is in Ted Cruz. But maybe there's something I don't know. And
he has to have a personal relationship with somebody from there,
or he's setting it up for being out of.
Well, think about it. So it's obviously the content is iHeart content. Why wouldn't you want to have a senator? I mean, just the name alone, which in theory should benefit them.
Yeah.
And so whether or not he's really that interesting, he's on there.
Yeah,
and people are gonna, Ted Cruz, let me see what he's saying.
No, you're right. So that's how actually iHeart operates in their podcast department. Because remember TJ and Amy?
Oh, yep.
They got a podcast. The people from ABC that were let go from Good Morning America, they have a podcast over there, and it's kind of based off of you kind of want to hear about what was going on, but they are, after the first 2 episodes, they got to move on from that and give you some type of content.
Right.
So iHeart, it does definitely move with the headline interest. I mean, we're talking about it now here on this podcast.
Right. So
they that's what they want. That's what they're gonna go for. Now, if it's gonna in the end come back and bite them in the ass, it just might, or at least
it might, but it won't even be something that serious. It'll be a slap on the wrist for them. If anybody's gonna lose anything, it'll be Ted Cruz.
Yeah, which is why they may feel comfortable taking that risk.
Yeah, it'll be at the worst case scenario, slap on the wrist for them.
Yeah, now we gonna see, man. They you see how they messing with Trump over finances and campaign finances, so. You better be on the up and up, or they coming for you.
George
man.
Santos.
Exactly. But Spec, man, before we get up out of here, man, I got a couple things I seen on the internet, bro. You want to check some of them out, bro?
Let's do it.
All right, first one up. This is motivation, man. You ever seen this dude?
You gotta believe you can do it. Don't worry about it. She don't believe you can do it. Don't worry about it. He don't believe you can do it.
This is Walmart, obviously, right?
They don't believe you can do it.
No, I've never seen
you
this.
You gotta believe you can do it. You gotta think you can do it. You gotta feel like you can do it. You gotta constantly tell yourself you can do it. You can do it.
And so.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And that's the truth.
So I guess
Walmart ain't promoting this. He walked up in the Walmart and did this shit.
I heard about this and I didn't know what it was. Like I heard about someone just describing it and I was like, that's a thing. And then I just happened to randomly come across the video. But like basically, this is what he does. He'll go somewhere. He'll pour milk and cereal all over himself. Ooh, I heard it was Ari Spears. I heard talking about this. And this that way he'll pour milk and cereal over him, but he'll yell motivational shit. And it's like, couldn't you just get the message out without doing that? Because like somebody got to clean that up, bro.
In today's day and age, probably not. He has to do
attention. Look, everybody behind him.
Right.
This dude right here with the walkie-talkie on this girl.
This nigga crazy.
Is this really happening? I'd be so mad I had to clean that up, bro. Oh, man. Somebody gotta clean that up. That's the part that sucks, bro.
So he probably pays for it and then does that.
Oh, yeah, because it's right after the checkout, right? Yeah. I'm mad.
And then he's not I don't think he's breaking the law. I mean, unless like littering.
When I heard it, I thought he was actually just taking them off the shelves, which I don't know. I haven't seen the other video.
That would be probably.
That would be wild. Yeah, they get him kicked out. But now that you said that, he'd be like, I don't need a bag.
Yeah, like, right.
You don't need a bag.
Sure, sir.
You gonna carry this home? I'll make whoever checked him out. I'm gonna make them clean that shit up. Let's see. Thing I seen on the internet, man. Well, I seen my guy Offset in the club acting the donkey. Acting the donkey. Got into a money fight. This was at Starlet's strip club.
That's New York?
I think so, right? Because that's where Starlet's is at, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Offset looked like he tried to like snuff somebody. That's him on the stage. And I guess they kept throwing money and something. They ain't like that. They was throwing. Maybe he thought they were throwing it at him. What was the plan there? You were just gonna fall into the crowd and.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know what to like. I think sometimes like
he engages in money throwing war.
People see bodyguard like, all right, they gonna hold me back, so I'm gonna just fall into the like. Cause like, where was you going?
You would have like that would not have worked out great for you, bro. If you just fell into a crowd of some dudes that was trying to throw like. Even though they showing this video, this is throwback Offset.
Oh,
that's what he was thinking. He was replaying that moment, bro. How you Superman down
yeah, I don't know.
I don't think Chris Brown went with these niggas, bro. These niggas is a little off, bro.
Wow.
Man, and finally, man, video. You probably seen this, man. It's been making his rounds all week. My guy, Kid Cudi.
Oh, I seen this one. He don't even look like he know how to jump.
You too old for this, Cudi. You too old for this. Oh, shit. You know what I just peeped happen? Oh, his leg is caught.
Was it?
Yeah, I've seen the video mad times. I just seen it for the first time. Look at his right foot, right? He gets caught on the wire. Right there. That's why he jumps so awkwardly. You don't see it?
I mean, not to the point where that happened. It just seems like he don't know how to jump.
It tricks him. Look at this shit. Hold on. Look at this foot right here. That's a wire right there. It's caught around his ankle right now.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
I don't know why he's still trying to jump it because he knew it was caught on there because he's trying to like go around it. I don't know why he thought that was the move.
I mean, I'll give him a pass. He's 40. You know what I mean?
Nigga,
I was like, some shit. You don't do that. That also is like 13 feet up in the air. Like you wild. I wouldn't even do that.
I think it looks a lot, but from the stage it don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like from the, you actually see how high it is from the stage, but I mean, it didn't stop Offset in the video before.
Yeah.
His face when it happens, he knows, bro. But yo, Spec, that's another episode in the books, man. Thank you so much for coming out here, man. Where can my people find you out on social media, bro?
Nowhere.
Same Spec, new year. You know how it's going down, man. And also, happy birthday shout out. You just celebrated, well, not too long ago, but last time we seen you, you celebrated a birthday.
I got a year older.
Yeah, Spec's up there,
40.
Man. The big 4. Oh, anything feel different?
My body.
Yo, you can catch me DJ Playboy on X at DJ Playboy. Catch me on Instagram at Plickapeasy. And catch me, catch Perfect Talk on Instagram as well at Perfect Talk Radio, man. Check us out. Check out the website, www.perfecttalkpodcast.com. We got everything DJ Playboy on there, everything Perfect Talk on there. And we got the merch on there. So go get yourself a t-shirt, a sticker, a mug, something. You know what I mean? Hold it down for the team. And a real quick sports shout out, man. Shout out Reggie Bush. He got his Heisman Trophy back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. They said with the players
About
getting
damn
NIL
time.
deals, they finally gave him back his Heisman
If I was
Trophy.
Reggie Bush, I'd burn that. I'd melt it right on live social
That's what he should have
media.
did, but instead of giving it back.
Melt that shit. Shouldn't have been taken away from him to begin with.
I think he knew deep down inside maybe one day he'd get it back. I don't know how but he's cool with it. He's happy that he's back. He's back in the fraternity now because you know like how
F the fraternity. Cool. I wouldn't accept it back. Like, cause he don't need it at this point. We know he won it. And so it's like, man, F y'all.
maybe from his standpoint, maybe he blames his parents.
Why?
They took a house, didn't they? Isn't that what they got him back?
Yeah, but I mean, why would I blame my parents? Like, they earned that. I mean, if I look at it from that perspective, I mean, they raised me. They deserved that.
Like I said, that's not me, and
Right.
we know like that these college players should be getting compensated. But maybe in his head, he was like, "Y'all couldn't wait. Y'all couldn't wait 2 or 3 more years. I'd have got you. You know what I'm saying? You had to take it from this dude." But all in all's been righted. Shout out to the NCAA. They losing their power though, pretty much, like with all these NIL deals. So they know they got to get right in terms of like the public perception. But and even like the fact that what's your man name Saban just like I'm out. Mm-hmm. He's like I can't deal with this NIL shit. It shows you that it's a different beast nowadays.
It is.
Yeah.
You're no longer gonna see like. Once upon a time, like certain programs will always keep their name just because of the school, but like students aren't going to be in a program for 4 years to build it up and do all of that. There's no need for it anymore.
I saw a stat. I was watching because the NFL draft's going on right now. Started on Thursday. And I saw a stat like in the first round, I think they were showing every year the amount of players that transfer that get drafted in the first round, and every year it's been going up because they're not. If you're not playing me here, I'm gonna go over here. Like I'm not sticking around to wait for homeboy to graduate or maybe
no need to.
Yeah, so that transfer portal and that NIL is making college sports a different beast, man. And I think the video game's coming out this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think this fall is going to be the...
What video game?
So you know like how they used to have college football, like a Madden version of college football? They stopped making it a couple years ago.
I didn't know that.
The lawsuits, because they weren't getting paid for it and kind of... Their names weren't in it, but I think some of the players were like, yo, that's me.
Right, okay.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So they just stopped making it altogether, and this is the first year that I think it's coming back. So that's going to put some more money in their pockets and everything like that. So we're going to see where it goes, man.
Now, do all the players, because I mean, obviously, if you're playing, I'm playing South Carolina, all the players, are only some players going to have a name in the game? Or are they going to have to pay everybody?
I think it'll be the same rules like NFL.
So, okay, yeah.
So, like, for instance, there's offensive linemen who don't play. But they're there. They're backup offensive linemen if they don't go in. I imagine they receive some type of royalty for their name and likeness being in the game because you can just stub yourself in.
Right.
I would imagine you would just get something for it.
Okay.
Maybe now it doesn't mean like the dude who's up for the Heisman next year. He might get a little bit.
They don't all get paid the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
There has to be tiers.
The dude that's on the cover might get a little something, but other than that, you know what I mean. Like I would hope all the play if you're on the team and the team's in the game. You should be getting something.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see though, man. But Spec, it's another episode in the books, man. We up out of here, brother. Thank you for coming back.
Yes, sir.
Show some love to Spec, y'all. And we up out of here, man. Go check out the YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hop in the comments. We up out of here, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.